Hi, and welcome to the Thrive Alcohol Free podcast. I'm Dupe Witherick, alcohol free wellbeing and transformational coach, and the best selling author of A Cocktail of Clarity, How to Ditch Drinking, Embody a Joyful New Identity, and Thrive Alcohol Free. This podcast will show you that being alcohol free is not what the traditional narrative says. And even though alcohol is so ingrained in our society that it is okay to give yourself permission to stop drinking if you want to. And you do not have to wait until you hit rock bottom. It is certainly not boring, and I believe ditching drinking is just the start to living an extraordinary life. By getting rid of this one thing, it allows the doors to open to endless possibilities and opportunities. Each week, we will have guests on who are at various stages of the alcohol-free journey, from those who are curious to those who have been alcohol-free for years. We will also have experts on talking about different topics relating to alcohol and beyond. Through these conversations, you will discover what it means to thrive alcohol-free. Enjoy. Hi, and welcome to the latest episode of the Thrive Alcohol Free podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you've had a good week. It's Thursday already, and it's day 16, would you believe, if you are doing Dry January. So if you're doing Dry January, I'd really love to hear from you. Let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram at Thrive Alcohol Free. Let me know how you're getting on, how you're finding it, how you're feeling, most importantly, and if you've seen any benefits from taking a break from alcohol. It's amazing. You have done amazingly well. You're doing amazingly well. So you're way over halfway now. And I wonder, when you look back at the reason for doing Dry January, whether or not that reason is beginning to come to fruition. But if you're doing it, keep going. You're doing fantastically. So I was just on a Zoom, which I have just finished, with the delightful Anna and Alison Canavan, where we were talking about intuition and energy, and all three of us are alcohol free. Anna was actually on my podcast a while ago, and she was talking about her 8-month journey into a year alcohol free. Well, she's now way over a year alcohol free, and Alison is coming up to 10 years alcohol free. And as you might be aware, I am 4 years alcohol free. We had a really fascinating conversation about alcohol, about energy, about intuition, how alcohol is potentially blocking our intuition, and from an energetics perspective, how do we really lean into intuition and away from fear? And we talked about expanding and contracting and the feeling that you know when it's something for you versus when it isn't. And it was just a really lovely conversation. So that was part of the Love Yourself Summit. And as we head into the new year, you may have so many plans, and you might be thinking about how you're going to maybe improve a relationship or relationships around you, or how you want to maybe find a relationship if you're not in a relationship. And really what this summit was emphasizing, which Anna has created and brought together 12 wonderful women, and her husband's also speaking at the summit. What we were talking about is, first and foremost, you have to love yourself. And I talk a lot about self-care and self-love, and it's so important to love yourself first. Again, your family will appreciate it more, your friends will appreciate it more. And we always talk about putting your oxygen mask on first before you help other people. And so I'm a huge advocate of self-love, of really getting to know yourself, knowing what's for you, what your intuition says, following that intuition, and just being more self-aware. It was a great conversation. There's still time to sign up. You can get the replays, and there's another session later today. So why not sign up? I will put the details below for the Love Yourself Summit, and you can check that out. So this week, it's a bit of a different episode. This is probably my first solo episode since maybe even my very first episode. We're on episode 68. So I generally have guests on my show, and I've been thinking about the podcast recently and what I want to do with it. And I thought actually what I'd like to do is to do some solo episodes, and I was still going to have lots of guests on, so don't worry, we'll still have some amazing conversations. But I also wanted to do this on my own and just see what that was like. And so one of the things when I was thinking about energy and we were talking about energy, really understanding our energy, I thought it might be good to talk about human design. Human design is an amazing tool that I discovered a couple of years ago, and it has really helped me to. I think it's been more, for me personally, it's been more of a validation, and it's really helped me realize that I'm absolutely where I need to be and I'm on the right path. And for a lot of my clients, it's been a validation, but also it's been a realization that they may have been living in their shadows. And we'll talk about that in a bit more detail later. But there's so many layers to human design. So I thought, why not do a little episode on human design as an introduction to human design for anyone who might be interested? Because I love to share this with people. It's a system that is just so beneficial. And as I mentioned earlier, with lots of different layers, and it can tell you so many different things. So I'm going to talk about human design and how you can unlock your true potential by discovering your human design. And really, it's all about living the life that you're destined for. And I help people create the life that they're destined for. And so let's dive in. We'll talk about what human design is, and then we'll talk about the energy types and the strategies. I'll also give some examples of how human design has helped my clients. And I just thought it'd be a cool thing to do to introduce you to one of the tools that I use in my coaching and just get you to think about whether or not human design could be helpful for you. And then at the end, I'll share how you can find out more about your own human design. But before you listen to this, feel free to go to my website, thrivealcoholfree.com/human design, and you'll be able to pull up your chart and you can actually see what your energy type is. I'm going to really focus on energy types and strategies. So you might want to play along. And so if you do, thrivealcoholfree.com/human design. You can put in your birth details. You'll need to put in the day you were born, the time you were born, and where you were born. And if you're not sure what time you were born, a lot of people obviously, I'd hope you know where and when you were born, but lots of people don't know the time. So if you want to play along and you need to go and find the time out from somewhere, just put in midday for now, and then we can go from there. But there are other ways you can actually find out what time you were born. So if you want to do that, get in touch with me via Instagram at Thrive Alcohol Free, and I will let you know some ways you can find out your actual time. But for this exercise and for following along with the podcast, just put in midday. Okay, so human design. If you are going through a time of transition, you're going through some sort of uncertainty about the direction that you're going in, if you are at a crossroads in your career, then human design is exactly what you need to gain clarity and know your next steps. And you may have heard me say that being alcohol free is a personal growth and transformation journey. So the other thing I want to highlight is if you're going on any sort of personal growth journey, be that just learning new things and developing in some way, taking courses and growing, or being on this alcohol-free journey, then again, human design is a great tool for you and you need to keep listening. So what is human design? Human design is a self-awareness tool. It's a system for knowing yourself, and it's an amalgamation of lots of different systems. So personally, I think human design is amazing as it just covers so many different things. Some people think about it in the sense of Enneagram or Myers-Briggs or something like that, which tells you personality, what you are. Human design tells you a lot more than that. But if you look at it as something like that, but the difference is when you do things like the Enneagram or Myers-Briggs or any other personality assessment that you may have done, you're answering all the questions. And so that means that depending on your mood, depending on whether you think you need to answer the questions in a certain way, depending
depending on whether you think, is this the right I want to give for future me, or is this the answer I'm giving for me at the moment? Really create lots of different answers through those personality assessments. And so the good thing with human design is that you're not dependent on how you answer, how you feel, what you think, because it's all based on your birth data. So if you're looking to understand yourself better, to know yourself better, human design is exactly what you need. It's a system for knowing yourself. It's also a combination of lots of different systems. And it's calculated on your birth data, as I've mentioned. They call it the science of differentiation. Everyone's unique. We're all here on this planet, but we're all very different. And no matter what your human design is, you might have a very similar human design to someone else, but you are still unique. And this really just shows how unique you are. And with the different layers, there are five common things, which are the energy types. So you're going to be an energy type, but then in terms of the strengths, in terms of your purpose, in terms of your channels, all these different things show your unique you. So it's a science of differentiation. And it's also a deconditioning tool. And so, what is a deconditioning tool? We have all been conditioned in some way to think a certain way or to act a certain way or to behave in a certain way. A classic thing is we're born, we go to school, and then you maybe go on to some sort of further education, you get a job, you get married, you have children, you follow this linear path, and that is the way to do it. Or you have to go out and get a 9 to 5 job because that's what everyone does. We have been conditioned to act in certain ways, to behave in certain ways. And then when it comes to alcohol as well, we're absolutely conditioned as a society to think that the only reason you wouldn't drink alcohol is if you have some sort of problem, or if you've hit rock bottom, or maybe for religious reasons you're not drinking. And we have this whole thing where you just need to drink responsibly, or you still need to drink because everyone else is drinking, or you need to drink to socialize, to relax, to de-stress, whatever the reason is. And we've all been conditioned into thinking that alcohol is giving us something and that that is what people do. And so human design is a deconditioning tool. Your chart, which you get, and you might have downloaded it before you started listening to this, has so many layers, and it's all about energy, and it's all about how we are meant to move through the world, and how we make aligned decisions, and how we really just know ourselves a bit better. When people do human design, they tend to find that they're able to then give themselves permission to do what they always know they were meant to do, or they think, oh, actually, I can contribute a bit more in a more meaningful way, or can become more impactful. And we all think we have to follow a certain path. We have to sort of be a follower, be the sheep. But actually, we're all very unique. And when people know their human design, it really empowers them to make decisions. And so for me, I discovered my human design. I'm a manifesting generator, and we'll come on to all of this in a minute. But as a manifesting generator, it means that I'm multi-passionate. That's one of the things. It means I'm multi-passionate. I like doing lots of different things. Well, when I do lots of different things, people say to me, oh, well, how do you have the energy to do that? And I can't believe you've done X, Y, and Z. And for me, that's just normal. It's normal for me to be doing lots of different things, and I enjoy that. And that's what gives me energy. So that's just a little example. Why don't I talk about the types? There are 5 different energy types. So you're going to be in one of these 5 categories. So I'd love you to really listen out for which type you are. And each type has its own strategy. And the type and the strategy is really how we move through the world energetically with the least resistance. And knowing your type, and we're just going to talk about type and strategy, but there's so many other things, as I said, that you can get to know about your human design. I just really wanted to introduce you to the concept. Knowing your type and strategy and your authority, if you know those 3 things and you start to follow those, you'll find that you are making aligned decisions, you're using your energy in the right way, you're not feeling your not self theme, which we'll talk about. And you're actually finding that you're in the right place, doing the right things, you feel aligned, you can make aligned decisions, and you experience less resistance in your life. So there are 5 types. There's the manifester, there's the generator, the manifesting generator, the projector, and the reflector. I'm going to talk through the different types, as I said, and I'd love you as we go through for you to think about which type you are. And if you haven't downloaded your chart, maybe guess. And then after this episode, go back to thrivealcoholfree.com/human design, and you can check to see whether you were right. So manifestors make up 9% of the population, and they're really here to initiate, to trailblaze, to start movements. They want the freedom to be themselves and to carve their own paths. And they know what they want and they do it. And they constantly challenge the status quo. They trigger people, but they're not here to people please. They're here to really trust their urges and convictions. And they might find that they have ups and downs in their energy. And with each of the types, there's a signature theme, which is basically when you're doing the right thing at the right time. And then there is the not self theme, which generally is a way of telling you that you're not quite in the right place, you're not doing the right thing, you need to make some sort of change. And recently, something that keeps coming up is all about change and choice. And when we are in situations, and I absolutely understand that you might not feel like you can change things, but whatever you're not changing that might be frustrating you or might be making you feel a bit bitter or maybe causing you to be angry, whatever you're not changing, you're choosing. And so one of the things with human design is when you actually know what your human design is, you can then start thinking about, oh, actually, well, where is this not working in my life? Where am I feeling my not self theme? Where am I feeling this? And then what can I do about it? And it might not be something you can do tomorrow, but at least you can start to have a plan around what you want to do. And so if you're a manifester, your signature is peace. If you're in the right place and at the right time, doing the right thing, you will feel a sense of peace. However, your not self theme is anger. If you are potentially feeling like you're angry all the time, something's not quite right, you don't feel like you're doing what you need to do and it's making you angry, then you want to probably look into that to understand what that is and what's causing that anger. The other thing to note is your strategy. So your strategy is how you're designed to move through the world. So with a manifester, their strategy is to inform. So as I said, they're here to initiate, trailblaze. They're meant to follow their urges, trust their urges, and just get on with stuff and carve their own paths. But one thing they do need to do to make it feel less resistant is to inform people. So if you are a manifester, whatever you decide to do is absolutely fine. You're not asking for permission. You're not asking for any of that, but you need to inform whoever might be affected that this is what you're doing. And it's not to ask for permission, as I said, it's more to just make things less resistant for you and for you to just get on with stuff. A lot of manifestors, when they were children, they may have been told by their parents that they need to not be that way, not to initiate. And it's really a way of parents trying to protect their children from the world and judgment, because manifestors can be quite full on, obviously know their minds, etc. So a lot of people who may discover that they're manifestors later on in life, they might actually not be in their power at all. They may not realize that they're here to initiate. They may not realize they're here to trailblaze. And this is the conditioning that we talked about earlier. And so that's a manifester. If we then move on to the generators, generators are 37% of the population. And some schools of thought say that there are only 4 types. So generators and manifesting generators are put together as one, and they make up 70% of the population. But I say that there are 5 types. So there's the generator and then the manifesting generator. Generators are 37% population, and they are really the motors of society. They are able to trust their guts. They're able to sustain effort and hustle, and they can do things that light them up. Excitement and joy are the fuel for them. And they have lots of energy. So imagine if you remember the Duracell bunny that had lots of energy, that was running around, that could keep going, keep going, keep going. That's what a generator's like. They have this sustainable life force energy. And so if a generator's asked to do something, they can absolutely get it done. And that could be a disadvantage, because if people start to realize that you're a generator, and they might not know you're a generator, but they know that you always get things done, you can end up taking things on that aren't giving you joy, that aren't exciting you. And that's when you can start to feel burnt out. The signature for generators is satisfaction, and the not self theme is frustration. But really, they're the doers. And so, as I said again, if you're in the right place, doing the right thing, feeling aligned, you're going to feel a real sense of satisfaction. You're going to feel like, yeah, I feel quite content, I'm satisfied. If you're in a not self theme, you might feel frustrated. So you may be in a job where you're actually feeling more frustrated every day than you are feeling satisfied. So again, that's something to pay attention to. Or you may find that you are taking on more than you want to take on because people know you get stuff done. And again, that could be causing frustration. So you need to really think about, what is it that lights you up? What excites you? What brings you that joy? And that will really help you to make decisions and stay on the right track. Another thing you have is you can, as I said earlier, is you can really trust your gut. And so you will know from a gut perspective what's right, what's not right. And that's because you have your sacral defined. And we're not going to go into all of this today, but because you have a really good sense of your gut, if you listen to it, again, you might have been conditioned out of listening to your gut, but it's really that sound that you might make when someone asks you a question and you're like, hell yes, that's definitely what I want to do, or no, I don't want to do that. Or you might find yourself leaning towards or retracting, depending on what the thing is. But you can absolutely trust your gut. And when you do things over time that you don't want to do, you might actually lose sight of your gut, and then you wake up feeling like you've lost your spark, and you might not be as effective as you could be because you've not really followed your gut. The final thing for generators is the strategy. So the strategy is to respond. Generators are like magnets. They attract things to them. And the way they do that is by responding. You can respond to anything that's outside of yourself. You might think, I really want to go on holiday somewhere, but then what you want to do is not pick a place yourself, but maybe look outside yourself. You may hear something on the radio, or you might see a billboard, or you might hear something on the TV, or one of your friends might talk about a destination, and then you might hear that destination a few times. And so then you're responding to that. And so responding is your strategy. If we move on to manifesting generators, as I said, some people put manifesting generators and generators together, but the way I've been taught, it's generator and manifesting generator is separate. And so with a manifesting generator, you're excited by lots of different things. As I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I'm a manifesting generator. Manifesting generators are multi-talented, multi-passionate, and they're here to do a variety of things. They have multiple careers and hobbies. Life is not meant to be linear for them. So the description I gave earlier, that isn't how manifesting generators should live. And really, they're here to skip steps and do things differently. But they may have limiting beliefs, again, because of their conditioning, that they're not allowed to do things in that way. And people say, jack of all trades, master of none. And so some manifesting generators may think, oh gosh, but I like doing all these different things. And it doesn't mean you can't be a master of things. Again, they're different parts of your human design, which will show whether or not you can master things. The likelihood is you can, but you are here to do lots of different things, and you can master lots of different things, and you're here to do things differently. And when manifesting generators are stuck in jobs that no longer light them up, they can be afraid to let it go. But you are absolutely here to break the mold, and you can absolutely do something different. And you want to keep the fire alive that you have inside you. And again, you have this sustainable life force energy, which means you can keep going, like the Duracell bunny that I mentioned. But if it no longer lights you up, then you should not do it. And so again, the signature is the same as the generator. The signature is satisfaction, and the not self theme is frustration. So if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling like things aren't lighting you up, then it's definitely worth looking at that. And the strategy as well is to respond. So again, you are responding to things outside of you, and that's how you really know what the next steps are, how you move through the world. The fourth type is a projector, and projectors are 20% of the population. Projectors are guides, they're seers, they're observers, they're innovative, they see what's wrong or what's missing to make things better. And they really need to be called or invited. And so, unlike the generator or manifesting generator, which are waiting to respond to something, and then the manifester who's informing something, with the projector, you need to be called, need to be invited. So you might have some amazing ideas that you might want to share, but if you haven't had an invitation, it will fall on deaf ears. And so it's really important for you to wait for that invitation, which is your strategy. But it's also important for you to manage your energy, because you don't necessarily have access to energy in the same way as a generator or manifesting generator. And what I mean by that is you'll find that projectors are able to do things within a set amount of time. My husband's a projector, and so he can get lots done in about 4 hours. He doesn't need to do the 9 to 5 job, as it were, and sit there for 8 hours and get things done. He can do it in a shorter amount of time and be just as productive, but then he might feel like he needs to refuel. And so projectors are incredibly gifted. They're brilliant people and they want to share their gifts. But as I said, they do need to be invited. And their fuel is really being seen or feeling seen, valued, and recognized. And so their strategy is success. And when I say success, and I've said this to projectors before, that doesn't mean necessarily success in the way society defines success, whatever that is. But you define your own success. And when you feel that you have that success, that recognition, that's when you know that you're in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time. The not self theme is bitterness. So if you're not in the right place doing the right thing, you will feel bitter. And so I do wonder if any of this is resonating with you and which type you think you are, or if you're following along. I hope this is helpful in terms of giving you an overview. But projectors are the new generation of leaders. They bring efficiency and they have a subtle ebb and flow of energy, as they don't have their sacral defined, which is that sustainable life energy. They've also got gifts. And so really understanding what those gifts are and being clear on those gifts so that they can then share those with people. That's what projectors are here to do. And then the strategy, as I mentioned, is to wait for the invitation. So they definitely, as a projector, you definitely need to, whatever it is, whatever gift you want to share, whatever information you want to share with people, as long as you've waited for the invitation, you're good to go. But if you don't wait for the invitation, you might find that people aren't listening, aren't taking it in, aren't really wanting to hear what you've got to say. And that can cause that bitterness. And finally, the reflectors. Reflectors are only 1% of the population. So there are not going to be many reflectors around. However, they are the unicorns, they're the snowflakes. They are the source of wisdom as they reflect the people around them, they reflect their environment. So they're the truth tellers. And when it comes to their internal energy force, it's because their energy centers aren't defined. So that's what makes them a reflector. And as I said, I go into all of these things when I do a session or through reports, or talk about all the centers. But the energy centers is really what makes up your human design chart. So reflectors don't have any defined energy centers. They're basically taking their energies from other people. They need to live in the present moment, and they need to be in environments or spaces that make them feel really good, and they need to let go of any expectations. They're really here to tell people the most important things that they need to know right now. And their energy level is based on the people that they're around. So they are like the magical beings who reflect the environment. And so their signature is surprise. So when they're doing the right thing in the right place at the right time, then they have a signature that's a surprise. And their not self theme is disappointment. And their strategy, interestingly enough, is to wait a lunar cycle. So they have to wait those 28 days before they can actually make decisions or do what they need to do. And as I said, reflectors, 1% of the population, and yeah, not many of them. I hope that's helped you understand a little bit about your type. And if you have downloaded your chart, I'd love to hear if any of that resonated with you. But your type is really determined by the combination of your defined and undefined centers. And so your human design chart is made up of 9 different centers, and they represent a specific energy hub. So the 9 centers, I'll just go through briefly so you're aware of them. You've got the head or the crown center, which is associated with inspiration, ideas, and mental pressure. You have the ajna or the mind center, which is connected to mental processing, thoughts, and ideas. You have the throat center, which is communication, expression, manifestation. You have the identity center, which is also known as the G center, and that's connected to love, direction, and sense of self. You have the heart center, which is willpower, ego, love. Then you have the emotional solar plexus center, which is connected to emotions, feelings, and intuition. You have the sacral center, which is linked to life force, energy, work, and vitality. And the splenic center, which is associated with intuition, instincts, and health. And then finally, you have the root center, which is linked to pressure, stress, and adrenaline. So with the different centers, that's what you have. If they're colored in, if they're defined, then you have consistent access to the energy. And if they are not colored in or undefined, that means you are actually amplifying the energy of others and you're taking on their energy, which means you have inconsistent energy to those things. And so that is a whistle-stop tour of energy types, the strategies associated with those types, and an overview of the centers. I personally think everyone needs to go through their human design because it really helps you to better understand yourself. So I wanted to share a few of the comments that clients I've worked with and gone through their human design have come back with. I'll just highlight a few points. One of my clients, she said the session was an extraordinary experience, beautifully and sensitively delivered. She thought it was a really personal session. She had goosebumps because she felt that human design findings knew her better than she knew herself. And she recommends human design to anyone who's questioning themselves and how they fit into the world, plus anyone wondering what next, and for anyone challenged by their own behaviors and ready to move forward, then human design is well worth doing. Another client said they found their human design session really insightful and useful experience. It really helped to validate herself, she said, and offered new perspectives on ways that she could manage various aspects of her life. It also offered ideas for how she can adapt her life to align with her truest self. And she recommended human design to anyone looking to understand themselves and live in a way that's more meaningful and fulfilling to them. And then finally, another client said they really enjoyed learning about themselves. And again, they feel validated for the things that they always knew were right for them, but they may go against the grain of what's expected as normal. And so she felt a lot better about herself, and she felt she had a much better understanding of herself. And she also said the recording, it was fantastic. So I give people a recording of the session so you can go back and listen to it as many times as you want. And she recommends doing a human design session with me if you want to know who you inherently are, what makes you tick, and how you can use that to live your best life. So that is an introduction to human design. And as I said, there's so many more layers. Human design can tell you what your purpose is, how best to make aligned decisions, how you're meant to move through the world, the character you're meant to play in the world. It can also really tell you what you're here to do. It can show you where your shadows are as well. What are the things that you might automatically be doing, which is living in your shadows of your gifts instead of in your strengths. And that's really interesting for things like it being dry January now. A lot of people turn to alcohol because their shadow is to numb or numbing, or it could be that one of their shadows in their gifts is that they have this victim mentality or they feel life isn't fair. And so then they turn to alcohol to escape from that. And so human design is a tool, as I said, that I think everyone should go through. And it's a great way of just knowing what next steps could be and what clarity you can find. So if you haven't already, I do encourage you to download your free human design chart. Again, it's www.thrivealcoholfree.com/human design, and you can get your free chart. Or if you want to go further, you can also get a detailed human design report, which is based on you. And it includes your type, your authority, and it goes into each of your centers, the defined and undefined centers, and tells you a bit about each of those. Or you could get a report that's specific to your health and how you can improve your health or how you can improve your relationships. And so there's that. Or you can also book a one-to-one human design session with me where we'll go in depth into your human design. We'll go through your unique strengths. We'll talk about how to make aligned decisions. We'll cover your purpose, the character you're meant to play in the world. I'll also share tools and strategies to help you navigate your specific human design, especially in the areas where you might be currently finding things challenging. And then we can go on and do further coaching sessions based on your human design, support you on your journey. But I encourage you to at least get your chart and to check out my human design page and find out more. And if you want to start by getting a report and then maybe doing a session after, I'd love to meet you and have the privilege of going through your human design and then working with you on that, because I believe it's one of the things that can really help you thrive in life and create the life that you are destined for. And so that's it. That's it for today. That's human design. And I do hope you found that really helpful. And I look forward to hearing your thoughts on it. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions on human design. And I will see you on the next episode. Take care. Bye. Well, thank you for listening to this solo episode on human design. I do hope this introduction was helpful for you if you have been thinking about or you've heard the phrase human design, you weren't really sure what it was, or if you've been looking to explore human design, or you've seen it on my website or my Instagram page or my TikTok, where I've talked about human design and you want to find out a little bit more. So I hope that has helped. I'd love to know what type you were and whether any of the descriptions, and especially the not self theme, if that resonated, if you've actually found that you felt frustrated or you felt bitter or you felt disappointed or you have felt that you are angry, then maybe that's the not self theme. But more importantly, do you know when you're in the right place at the right time? Do you feel that sense of peace, that sense of satisfaction, the sense of success, or the sense of surprise, depending on what type you are? I'd love to hear, get in touch. Feel free to contact me via my website, or you can go to my Instagram at Thrive Alcohol Free and send me a DM. And if you'd like to find out more about human design, then feel free to book a session or to purchase one of the reports. And of course, you can get your free chart if you just want a starting point. Okay, we're in 2025. We are 5 months away from the Bali retreat, the Finding Freedom retreat that is happening in Bali, which I'm so excited about. It doesn't sound like it's that far away. It's happening in June, and it's going to be an amazing retreat. And I really want you to think about what it is you want out of life. One of the things that I'm really passionate about doing is helping people create the life that they're destined for. And we've talked about human design, that's definitely a key, but actually really knowing what you want and where you are and empowering yourself to make decisions that are most aligned to you so that you can unleash your potential and thrive without limits is really, really key. And so I wanted to invite you personally to the Finding Freedom Retreat. It's a retreat which will really help you experience more creativity, more courage, more joy, and more freedom in your life. And you'll find connection with like-minded women, and you will have an instant community. We're going to do daily coaching and Q&A sessions so that you can learn tools and techniques to help you become the thriving woman. You can have your questions answered, whatever they may be, and you're going to have the time and space to really reflect on what you really want. My friend Zoe is going to be doing the daily yoga every morning, and so you'll have the opportunity to really breathe and come back to yourself. We will be doing various exercises and we'll be doing a visualization so you're really clear on what your path is for the next 6 to 12 months, and you can start to embody that on the retreat. The retreat, from a coaching perspective, we're going to cover things like identifying and examining your beliefs, the stories, the identities, the values that might be holding you back from success. We're going to help you get clear on who you need to be to fully embrace your alcohol-free self if you're alcohol-free, or truly embody your identity. We'll help you experience letting go of things that are no longer serving you and heal areas that have come up since you stopped drinking. You'll also get the chance to reflect on where you are now and who you want to be, and then tap into that higher version of you and start to learn to listen to your intuition. You'll come away really knowing your core values, how to embody those on a day-to-day basis. Alcohol won't be an issue anymore if you are on that alcohol-free journey. It just won't be anything you think about. You'll learn tools to help you name, process, and manage emotions. You will understand potential fears and how you can manage those. You'll get clarity on what you really want, so you can move forward with momentum, and you'll learn to take action with consistency to achieve your goals. You'll go from just being alcohol free and life staying the same as it was before you ditched the drink to envisioning and going after the life that you are truly destined to live, the life that you want. And you'll go home and fully be in the world, thriving alcohol free. And it's a 7-day retreat, which is going to be a highly immersive and transformative experience. It's a retreat that will merge self-discovery, personal empowerment, and of course the Balinese culture and adventure. And I spent a month in Bali with my family last year, and it was life-changing. It really helped to cement what we wanted to do in life and what we wanted to do as a family in the coming years. And it's led to us making a lot of different decisions. And so I'd say Bali is a really special place. It's somewhere where well-being and transformation truly come together. And by going on this retreat, you're going to step away from those everyday stresses of life, and you'll go home fully transformed and nourished, and you'll have full clarity of how to fully step into your purpose and design the life that you've always wanted and I believe you're destined for. So why not join me? If you're ready to ditch drinking, maybe you're doing dry January and you're thinking you might want to continue with it, or even if you take a month off before you come on the retreat, if you have taken a significant break from alcohol and you're looking for authentic connections with other women, or if you're looking to explore what thriving alcohol-free truly means and begin to embody your new identity, and if you're excited to experience being outside of your comfort zone and ready to immerse yourself in a journey of discovering your unique you, then this retreat is for you. It's in a beautiful setting, a beautiful venue, which I visited when I was in Bali, and I just loved it. And the people there were just really helpful, really lovely. You'll have your own private room, which are gorgeous. The rooms are just stunning. And we'll do a load of excursions as well, experiences. So we have the sacred water healing ceremony. We're going to do breath work. We're going to do sound healing. We're going to make mala beads. We'll do some Balinese cooking. We are going to go to a cave waterfall and so much more. It's just going to be an amazing experience. And I know it will help you wherever you are to just become who you want to be. And so I encourage you to head to the website, head to thrivealcoholfree.com/finding freedom retreat and book your space now. The £500 early bird discount is still available. And then you have the options for a payment plan as well. So you can pay over a few months in order to make it more manageable if that's easier for you, or of course you can pay in full. If you are looking to do something different this year, if you haven't quite booked your holiday, or if you would like to have some time for you, and we talked about self-love right at the beginning, this would truly be something that you can say you're doing for yourself, and it shows that you are wanting to take the time out for you, and you will come back and your family will appreciate it, your workplace will appreciate it, your friends will appreciate it. Whatever you do, you'll come back renewed, and I can't wait to meet you. So if you have any questions, feel free to book a call. When you head to the website, you can either book in full, pay in full, or you can, as I said, join the payment plan and secure your spot with a deposit, or you can book a call and we can have a chat to see if this is the right fit for you, if you have any questions, and I'd love to meet you. So if the Finding Freedom Retreat is something that you are interested in, then don't hesitate to get in touch, and I hope to see you there. All right, well, I do hope you have the best week, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Thrive Alcohol Free podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe so you get alerted every time I drop a new episode. I'd love it if you could rate, review, and share this episode. Feel free to tag me on Instagram at Thrive Alcohol Free and follow me for daily tips. If you would like to work with me, I offer one-to-one coaching sessions and have my group coaching program. If you're not yet ready for coaching, I also have a self-paced online course, which is a companion to my book, A Cocktail of Clarity. All the links are in the show notes. I will see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful week. Take care.